We talked about Sun Devils you need to pay attention to during training camp, but I mean, we got to talk about quarterbacks a little more too.
You are Locked On Sun Devils, your daily podcast on the Arizona State Sun Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Richie Bradshaw, and I will be your guide for everything at Arizona State Sun Devils. Shout out to my everydayers who are here every day. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. Hit like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications wherever you're getting your podcasts. Stay in touch with the show by following me on Twitter at RichieBrats36, the podcast at LO_Sun Devils. If you have not hit like and subscribe on YouTube yet, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button. We are trying to get to 1,000 followers before the season starts. We got a long ways to go, but I know that we can get there with the best fans in the world. Now, we talked earlier today about the guys to look at in training camp. We talked about the obvious guys, the less obvious guys, and the sleepers. If you have not tuned into that episode, do me a favor and go check that one out. It dawned on me that we need to have a little more in-depth conversation about the quarterback spot. And not so much the top three guys. We can address them real quick. Sam Leavitt, QB1. Slam dunk, put it in stone. QB2, it'll be an interesting competition. You're going to be between Trenton Bourguet, who is an all-time Sun Devil at this point, and Jeff Sims, who is transferring from Nebraska. Now, Sims has a lot of playing time in his career because he was a starter at Georgia Tech for a long time, too. He has not played at a high level. He is experienced, but you kind of know what he is. With Trenton Bourguet, it's the same thing. You know what he is. He's good enough. He's fine. He's not going to really transcend the offense or anything. He's also a big-time fan favorite. I know that a lot of people really love Trenton Bourguet, and he will be somebody that I imagine is going to be on staff next year as some kind of graduate assistant or anything like that. He has expressed his desire to want to be in that role. After those three, we entered spring ball with three quarterbacks, not including Jeff Sims. He had not transferred to ASU at the time. The other guy was Navi Bruzon. And Bruzon is two-time Gatorade Player of the Year, a state champion for Arizona at Liberty High School, someone who is one of the most decorated players, not even just quarterbacks, decorated players in Arizona high school football history. This is a very talented kid. He's a walk-on, and there's not too much that we know about him right now other than he is competing for any kind of role with the team this year. After him, there was nothing. And then ASU added Jeff Sims to give them four quarterbacks, and now two other quarterbacks have walked on as well. Christian Hunt, a redshirt freshman who is transferring in from Arkansas State, and Tyler Laskaris, who is a true freshman from Roswell, Georgia. Now, Laskaris, I could not find any rankings for him. I would assume he's probably a walk-on for the team. Christian Hunt had one offer out of high school from Arkansas State. He redshirted there last year and is moving back to the west side of the country. He's going to be closer to home and everything. Really quick, Christian Hunt is quite different from the rest of the quarterbacks on this team. He's big. He is big, big, big. 6'5", 230 pounds. The next closest size is Jeff Sims at 6'3", 215. Then you get to Leavitt at 6'2", 200. And then the other three quarterbacks are 6 foot or shorter. He is a very different looking quarterback for the team. So it'll be fun to take a look and see what Christian Hunt ends up looking like during training camp. But bringing it back to training camp, this is the really interesting thing, is what do you do with the quarterback spot? You have your top three guys. What does it look like after them? I don't want to say quarterback is a weak point, because Sam Leavitt is a very talented player. But if Leavitt goes down or if Leavitt doesn't live up to expectations, you are left wondering what happens next at the quarterback spot. Because again, you know what you have with Jeff Sims, you know what you have with Trenton Bourguet. Could you possibly look at one of these guys? Could you look at Christian Hunt or Tyler Laskaris or Navi Bruzon? And that's kind of the question I want to answer here on this little bonus episode of Locked On Sun Devils is what are expectations? We can start there. What are expectations for these kids? They are obviously not high, if any. I don't think it's fair to place expectations on quarterbacks 4 through 6 on the roster. 3 guys who are redshirt freshmen, and freshmen. 2 of them, I believe, are walk-ons. I'm not sure about Laskaris, but Bruzon is definitely a walk-on. You cannot place any serious expectations on these guys, if any expectations on these guys. In fact, it makes a lot of sense that Bruzon and Laskaris end up getting redshirt years as well. Who knows what to do with Christian Hunt? But ASU needs to have that depth at the quarterback position. And right now it's kind of questionable whether or not it's truly there for the team. But it's not concerning, but it's just a question mark. And it brings me to my question here of what should we be looking for during training camp from these guys? That's my biggest question that I want to tackle a little bit more detailed here in just a moment. First, I want to talk to you guys about our friends over at Gametime, the authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball. Makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. You can save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, but also concerts, comedy, theater, and more. You can save with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the games or event. You can save even more when you choose a section and let Gametime choose the seats for their zone deals. You can toggle a feature for all-in pricing that'll show the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Get a panoramic view of your seat in the app before you buy, and their lowest price guarantee means that Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and row for less. Your purchase is also covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off of your purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Also want to talk to you about our friends over at Factor. Warmer, sunny days, they're calling for you, and it's time to fuel up with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer, and you can thank the chef-crafted meals with options like calorie-free, protein plus, and keto to help you get there. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day that you kickstart that healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this summer with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and black-ended shrimp. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleanup. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose up to 6 menu preferences to help manage your calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced. Head to factormeals.com/lockedoncollege50 and use code 50, lockedoncollege50, that is, to get 50% off of your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code lockedoncollege50 at factormeals.com/lockedoncollege50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Back into our back into our conversation now. We're going to go ahead and talk about what are fair expectations for this group. And again, I don't know that there's necessarily fair expectations. So what should we be looking for? That's an interesting thought, I suppose. What should we be looking for from the quarterback position? It's a room that, compared to last year, I don't know that there's too much of a difference, I suppose. You look at last year and you had 4 guys who had Power 5 experience, right? You have Trenton Bourguet, or I guess Jaden Rashada didn't have experience, but he was a really high 4-star. But you had Rashada, you had Bourguet, you had Drew Pine, you had Jacob Conover. Between those 4, you had guys that had experience or were really highly recruited out of high school. Rashad is gone. Drew Pine is gone. Jacob Conover is gone. This room is vastly different. Sam Leavitt is in. Trenton Bourguet is back. Jeff Sims is in. With the guys behind them as well, I don't know that this room is entirely different. It is, but it isn't, I guess. Jeff Sims and Drew Pine, both kind of veterans. Sam Leavitt and Jaden Rashada, both 4-stars coming out of high school. Trenton Bourguet is Trenton Bourguet. Jacob Conover was a 4-star coming out of high school. He didn't have that much playing time, though. I don't think he had 30 pass attempts before he got to Arizona State. That's probably the biggest difference is QB4. The thing that I actually like about this QB room, though, is there's good potential with Sam Leavitt. You know what you have in veterans like Jeff Sims and Trenton Bourguet. I know I've said that a lot, but it just is what it is. Bruzon is really interesting because the kid is talented. He's a gamer. He just plays good football. Don't know anything about Laskaris. Don't know anything about Hunt. We'll be paying attention to them. We'll be paying attention to see how Hunt and Laskaris look. Are they guys that are just bodies? Are they potentially going to find a way to make an impact and get on those third teams or get on the scouting teams or whatever it might be? And I think that's probably the best way to kind of leave off this podcast is the expectation, if there are any expectations, and I've said several times on this show, I don't think it's fair to place an expectation. If you were to put one, is it to be on the scouting team? That feels like a really best case scenario for these guys, is to still be at practice, put on the green jerseys or whatever it is that they do for scouting team. I can't remember what color jerseys they do for scouting team, but have them still available for ASU throughout the year to be able to prepare. And then by the end of this year, you're going to be losing Sims and Bourguet. That's an open opportunity for Bruzon or Hunt or Laskaris to be able to take over a larger role with the team and potentially be QB2 on the roster. Now, you're bringing in Michael Tollefson for next year. Cameron Dyer's coming in, but he's going to be moving to receiver. I'm sure they'll attack the transfer portal too. There's no doubt that they will. But what happens with the quarterback room this year, particularly with those 3, Hunt, Laskaris, and Bruzon, particularly those 3, could potentially impact the future of this program. maybe I'm being dramatic, but like I said, this was something that was stirring in my head, and I feel like I kind of had to have a separate little podcast to get my feelings out there. This was an unscripted podcast, if you couldn't tell. This was very much me just kind of throwing my thoughts out there, and I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are too. It's a weird situation that the Sun Devils have at quarterback right now. You have top three guys, and then you got three guys you have absolutely no idea about. I'm curious what you guys think. Are there any expectations that are fair to put on these guys? I don't really know, but let me know what you guys think. Is there someone you're really excited about? I know I'm looking forward to seeing Navi Bruzon play some more football again. So let me know in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter at RichieBrads36, the pod at LO_Sun Devils, wherever you're getting your shows. Hit like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube yet, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Help us get to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. We'll be back again tomorrow for a better conversation. I'll see you then. Till then, you keep it locked right here on Locked On Sun Devils.